Hello, hello, hello. This is the
Hi
Gimbalabs
everyone.
weekly update. Should we double check like usual? Whoa, I
Hey,
still have some. I still have some
on
study
it.
music playing on YouTube.
Twitter propagating.
And
Yeah,
Gimbalabs
we're here. Yeah.
looking good. All right, fun. All right, so hi everybody. This is the Gimbalabs weekly update. This is our 23rd. It's the middle of June. We started these back in January. And the reason we do this is because we are a Catalyst funded project and we really believe in our responsibility of just doing a little bit of share out about what we've been up to each week. So every week we give some shout outs to people who we've been collaborating with. We give some updates on what we've done, share about our next steps, suggest some next steps for you, the audience, and then we take a Q&A. So let's jump right in. Every Tuesday, we have we call it the playground meeting. It's been a few different things over time, and we're going to have some updates about what the playground is and where it's going over the next few months. But we had a really high-spirited meeting this week, one of the best attended meetings we've ever had. And Steve Lockhart, you inspired everybody. Just the rapt attention to your thinking about local currencies and all of the possible implications. There's a lot that we've got to figure out together, but I know that you really drove this action by sharing all the thoughts you did and giving us all a lot to reflect on. So thanks for that.
Yeah, man. Um, what's now some way to think about changing the world?
And I think I'm going to be next. So I am really happy and proud to be part of the Alonso Blue crew that is testing this initial phase of the integration and rollout of Alonso and smart contracts on Cardano. I've been so lucky to be asked to work in this group. And I just want to give a shout out to the all Alonso Blue crew. This is for other fellow pioneers, other ASPOs, and then all the IOHK group. They are extremely knowledgeable, welcoming. They answer every single questions. And yeah, I just want to say thanks because this experience has been amazing so far. And I'll give a better update just in a minute. So thank you, everyone. Really, really good.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to give two special shout outs to the Alonso Blue crew, which is one, you, Giovanni. Thank you for sharing the whole experience on your YouTube videos, doing the exercises and all the recap you did in your last video. Thank you because I haven't been following so close Alonso Blue. It was really useful. The second one, in the same vein, is for Sebastian Guillemot from DC Spark. Man, I don't need to mention how awesome Seba is and how useful are those pills he launches in his videos around the ledger, how it works, how are the internals. He makes it look easy. Thank you guys for putting all that knowledge out there.
Okay, I'll pile it on too. It's been so fun to watch stuff start to roll out, and I mean, we've spent months just wanting everything right now, to really see these tools out in the wild, and it's really amazing to watch this first trickle of ideas coming out and watching people make sense of it. I really enjoyed Andrew Westberg's video this week as well. His latest Nerd Out. It was one of the most efficient videos I've ever seen, looking at both what it entails, what's being asked of people on Alonso Blue, and how he was approaching that work. It's 13 minutes that's well spent for anybody who hasn't seen that yet. And I probably should have listed everybody here, but I wanted to shout out Chad in particular. We had a really exciting meeting yesterday, mapping out what we need to know and understand about identity and decentralized storage. We started this journey months ago with the simple question of, hey, like, what if we built event ticketing using NFTs? And it led us into the really critical rabbit holes of what a truly decentralized application will entail. And it's bigger and more difficult than we realized at first, but we are really confronting these questions head on, and it feels really, really good to be exploring together. And the reason I wanted to shout out Chad is because he showed up recently and has been working really hard to build his understanding and to kind of come to terms with the conversations that we've had already. And in turn, that's given all of us who have been thinking about this for a little longer a chance to put precise language to what we understand so far. So really had a great experience yesterday. There's still a lot of work ahead of us, but it's the absolutely essential work. I think there's some parallels between this and what the Alonzo Blue crew is doing right now, right? We want it all to work right now, right? But that is a journey, and it takes some effort to get there, and it's really cool to see everyone showing up to put in that time. And hey, Josh, hey, Piotr, hey, Juan, by the way. Yeah, Josh, we missed you, but we know we'll catch you soon. All right, so what do we do this week? We just talked about a few of the things.
So the first 2 points are for me. I was off last week while the other pioneers were testing this first part of Alonzo Blue, but as soon as I came back from holidays, I did my part of the testing, and I managed to run my first smart contract on a public testnet. I just want to highlight for a second, first smart contract on a public testnet. So far, Cardano has always said that they were running smart contracts, but on private blockchains that were accessible to the wider public. And this is the very first time that non-IOHK people, but members of the community, SPOs, Brutus pioneers, could access a public testnet armed with smart contracts. And I've shot a video that you can find on my Twitter feed on the steps to do it. So again, it's a pleasure and honor of being able to do this for Cardano. It feels like one in a lifetime, one in a history event. So it's a great feeling, and I'm not aware of new dates for Alonzo White, etc. But everything seems still to be within the 90 days plan that Mr. Hoskinson has announced pretty much a month ago. So this is the very first of the two main things I've been working on. And the second one is, and apologies for the name, we came up with this funny name called the Balcony API, a beautiful view on the Cardano blockchain. So there is a stronger and stronger needs by internally in Gimbalabs and from the community to access some data that are not available directly or in clean or fast way through the GraphQL API that is like the official read-only service that IOHK, the Cardano, has built for us. And I know that outside in the world, there are many services that are already doing so. So because the goal of Dandelion is to create a community-driven platform to integrate with the Cardano blockchain, I think it was the right moment to start a new service that leverages the Cardano, that leverages the Postgres database as created by the Cardano DB Sync, so to provide additional information to users. So I put it down, I put it together in a day and a half because that simple is to start something like this. And it actually worked. The first thing that I wanted to do is to calculate the Sigma API, and it's already there, up and running, working, and is returning valid results compared to the other providers that are already out into the community. And in the meantime, I'm starting to add just a few other bits and pieces. So yeah, that's the second part of the update. Thank you very much. I spent a long time, and I will go back to this very point later on because I have an ask for the community. I want you to help me this time. See you in a minute.
Do you have a link for the currently named Balcony API that we can share?
Yes, I shared it on Twitter, and I can do. I'm not sure I can do this right now, but the API is open, so I forgot to say open source, completely open source, written in Scala.
I encourage anyone to take a look at Gimbalabs and Dandelion GitLab organizations. Just take a look and see what you find there.
Awesome.
So next one, this week we started our coding on chain sessions again after an hiatus because different things. We had to pause those sessions, and we did an interactive NFT fully on chain using the new CoolPM ability to show embed files from the metadata itself. We continued the bashing live wallets. Also had an Easter egg in the session fixing GraphQL, which crashed the Dandelion DB. It had some problems with some indexes. We fixed it live, so we could send the transaction using the service because we got in panic, like, oh shit, this was supposed to be a live wallet, and now we are like forced to use the node because the service is down. Well, that's what happens when you have a live wallet that depends on a single deployment. That's why we need everybody to deploy this, make each other's redundancy, like some good friends said. So yeah, that was a long 1.5 hours with Kyle and me improvising mostly. So I hope you enjoy it.
Oh my God, you guys are legends, and I haven't had time to watch that one yet, but I can't wait. I'm as excited to watch that as pretty much anything. And it's like Giovanni was saying about just this moment in history of Alonso rolling out. I just feel like those coding on chain videos are going to age really well. This is a snapshot of what it looked like to figure out how to use these tools. And it's so engaging, and it's really cool what Kyle and you were doing, Roberto. Thank you for those.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. The next three kind of all go together. I mentioned that we started with what we thought was an obvious and simple idea, and we found out that there's so much else we have to get right. So we've had a lot of conversations this week about how to build the best possible self-sovereign identity solution. And we know we're going to live in a world where there are several solutions to this problem. So we are trying to create one that expresses our values as clearly as possible, and that gives anybody who shares those values an option among the many for an identity solution. Same thing with storage. There's always going to be trade-offs between ease of use, security, privacy, sovereignty. We are trying to not only build something that works, but also learn as much as we can along the way so we can discuss the trade-offs. And so it's been really exciting learning alongside each other, and everybody who's showing up for these conversations is building for themselves an expertise that they will be able to share beyond this currently small community. So we're just really excited for that. And the same logic applies to Plutus. While we have pioneers like Giovanni leading the way in making sure that we're actually able to use this stuff, hook it up to a network so it can do things, there's also just so much other work to do, just making sure we understand the Plutus language. So a few people have started to come together just to practice. We're not experts yet. That's the point. There are not enough Plutus experts on the planet to deliver what we're going to need to deliver over the next few years. So we're really taking this opportunity to build up that capacity with each other. If that mission resonates with anybody watching this video, be sure to reach out, right? You don't have to be an expert yet, but if you want to be one, if you want to figure out how to get there, that's the space we're trying to create. And so finally, all of this kind of gets summarized in the idea of the playground, right? We meet on Tuesdays to discuss big ideas. Sometimes it launches projects, and those projects will eventually be production level. Right now, they're just places that we can learn, and that's what they are supposed to be. So it's been really fun, right? Whether it's ID, again, storage, playing with Plutus, building something that might have utility and teach people what a decentralized app is and what it does. This is the process that we're all engaged in. And again, if anything I'm saying right now resonates with you, we invite you to show up and jump in, because you're exactly right. Maybe this should be the Gimbalabs tagline. Learning is the best.
It's one of the most enjoyable things you can do. And if you learn the right things, you really can change the world.
That's right.
So let's do it together.
Yeah. So what are our next steps? Continue on these missions.
So, of course, there is the Alonso Blue, and exactly while we were talking, there is a little bit of movement happening into the private Discord of IOHK. I can't say more, but there is going to definitely be a little bit more work next week about smart contracts testing on Alonso Blue. I'm going to be all over it. And I'm going to hopefully share with the community what can be shared at this point. So stay tuned for that, hopefully more videos. And the second thing is this is like a shared responsibility between inside Gimbalabs and outside, is enriching the so-called Balcony API. And I want your help in finding a nice way that gives a nice new name, that gives an idea of what this API does, that is basically give the possibility to the consumers of this API to access customized data that are not accessible in the shape that API GraphQL does. So hit me up if you have suggestions. Hit me up if you're developers and you're looking for specific data that are not directly available on the GraphQL API. I'll be more than happy to work with you, put the query up, and implement the RESTful endpoint to access those data. So, and most important, the name. Suggest me a good name to name this thing to, I don't know, landscape or view or whatever. Just, I'm really bad with names in both languages, my native one, Italian, and English.
I don't hate the word balcony. In part you're talking about having a beautiful view of the blockchain, right? So it does capture that. What is it? Is it too exclusive a name?
I don't know. I don't know. It has to give the sense of beauty. So I don't know, landscape API or terrace API, or I don't know. Help me.
We are looking at the horizon. We're envisioning that we will need to oversight a lot of data in the blockchain, right? That just came to my mind. Landscape, horizon. Yeah, those are the places we are looking at.
Juliet, like Juliet looking down from the balcony. Is that too tragic?
That could give some confidence on the reliability.
There. Nice.
Hilltop.
Hilltop is not bad.
Canopy, yeah, those are cool. This is fun.
No, that then gets very close to another thing.
This is fun. Okay. We are also, while this work is happening, we are beginning to get more serious about designing the Gimbal token. And the goal is to have something meaningful to release when Alonso is released on mainnet. I want to save sharing a lot more of those details for having these internal conversations first. But we extended from Steve's conversation about local currency into a potential Gimbal token at Playground on Tuesday. And that's one place that we can continue those conversations. Everybody who expressed interest in participating, I'll reach out later today to get an initial get together on the books. But yeah, our goal is to build something that really expresses the values of Gimbalabs, right? Learning together, building for the long term, making an honest living by contributing to something important. So if you're interested in all that, that's another call to action this week, is to reach out or join us at Playground and start participating in that. Same thing with Plutus capacity building. Got a few exciting introductory meetings on the books for next week. And anybody who's interested in learning more about that, please reach out to me. My goal is to have a group of us who don't consider ourselves to be Plutus experts yet come together in a way where we can build that expertise and maybe have real value to share by learning together. I guess the last one's mine too. Yeah, so same thing, continuing this work. Tokens, Plutus, storage, and identity. Keep working. If we get those 4 things right, we're in good shape, right?
Little topics, all of them, right?
Yeah, just
besides my mapping, some of us will be tinkering with different projects that started the SSI and decentralized storage journey, just to try and figure out what we can build today.
Hey,
Indeed,
Kyle.
please.
Kyle,
Kyle.
it pleases. It does please, doesn't it? All right, so what are our next steps?
I think we have already spoken about the first one, and I'm liking Hilltop the more I think about it.
Right.
Hilltop? Nice. Oh, I'm bringing it. So just to reiterate, we have a weekly Playground session. That's at 4 p.m. UTC time every Tuesday. We do that directly in the Gimbalabs Discord server. Although I think we had 24 people there with a limit of 25 on Tuesday. So we may have to switch over to Zoom soon enough. We'll keep you posted. And then, we've talked before about this idea of open garage sessions where we get together to do meaningful work, but all are welcome. So you'll find this on the Gimbalabs calendar. We're continuing the work of self-sovereign identity, and storage and dApp building are kind of wrapped into this. Those meetings happen regularly Monday and Wednesday, also at 4 p.m. UTC in the Discord server. Ooh.
Oh yeah, I think we missed some great updates from Kyle.
Yep.
We got for me it's a huge milestone in the ecosystem. We have another library that it's able to send transactions including metadata, and that opens up the door for many .NET developers that are out there to do it natively from .NET. Thank you, man.
Awesome.
That's been incredible. The speed you and Daniel are getting working on this.
I got chills when I saw that screenshot this morning of the metadata. Yeah. And we have a technical writer named Eddie who has just been awesome, jumping into beginning to document the .NET libraries, and he's helping to create a framework into which we can add some other documentation as well. So thanks, Eddie, for that. And if anybody's watching this and wants to participate in that, also reach out. That happens late on Monday nights, UTC time in the wee hours, because Eddie's in Australia and Kyle and I are here in the United States. So that's when we happen to meet. But if you want to know more about those meetings or even start participating, that's another thing. You could just drop a line. Delegate to these pools, Gimbal, Peace, Lift, and Easy One. That they're run by the people you see right here in front of you. And all 4 of these pools fund development work directly. I think this is, it's a win-win investment on all parts to fund this ongoing work that creates value. As always, if you want to contribute, reach out. Oh, Josh, now you're speaking. I'm gonna write to you about this. So in case you, just in terms of personal sharing, I just never thought that like swinging a club golf is a very interesting pursuit. But I live near a disc golf course. Have you guys ever heard about this?
I didn't. Kyle told me about disc golf. I never ever.
Ooh, Kyle and I
about that.
talked about this. So yeah, it's really fun actually. You get to walk in the woods or in a field, and you get to throw frisbees across them and get some exercise. It's really fun. So Josh and I need to organize the first. Oh my gosh, Kyle! All right, we know that we have to. When we have a Gimbalabs conference, it's going to have to be near a disc golf course, that's for sure. So we can get out there and have some fun. But I just find it so fun, environmentally friendly, doesn't make too big of an impact on the natural world, and it's a really good way to get out there. That is great. We'll compare notes someday soon. Cool. Anybody else have questions about disc golf? About Alonso, otherwise.
Alonso, Alfonso.
Crazy coins. How many crazy coins did you guys mint yesterday?
Oh, we minted 100 million of on-chain games. And we did all the testing directly on mainnet, because Pool PM is the only explorer that is supporting these rich NFTs that can include any file, and Pool PM only runs on mainnet. So we spent 2 ADA on many crashed tries. By the way, shout out to the Smog for Pool PM. Please stay with him. Because that way we might have Pool PM running for testnet also. You know, servers, DB-Sync and all these services are beefy and need, you know, the bills on servers might be huge. If you have the traffic for that Pool PM supports, it's for sure a good amount of dollars each month.
It's really fun having Kyle in the audience today.
Yeah, it wouldn't be coding on chain, shameless hacking sessions if we don't go the hard route and try to do those things.
I agree.
Ooh. For identity, well, that's nope, we don't. That's part of the current ongoing work on the SSID sessions, where we are exploring how to maybe take some project that already works on Bitcoin, make it work on Cardano. But yeah, we don't have one, but we might have one soon.
Fund 4 voting ends today. So, right, is the Auth Mechanism proposal in Fund 4?
I know it's the next one,
No,
5.
That's 5. Okay.
On 5.
It's hard to keep track.
Oh, that's. Do you want to take that one, James?
Yeah, I mean, this is this is one of the things we've been talking about. Identity itself is somewhat trivial, right? I mean, my wallet address identifies me. It is a unique identifier. But does it mean anything, right? How do you attach meaning to that? I think reputation is one of the ways, right? How do I know which person with what sort of reputation is represented by this particular hash? Well, now we're talking about storage. And that's why when we talk about identity, we always have to also talk about storage, because that identifying information needs to be stored somewhere, right? And there's a lot of different ways to do this, right? You could just throw it in a centralized server that those hashes are related to reputation data. But then is it a decentralized app, right? At the other extreme, you could just have people carrying around their reputation with them, their own personal side chain. And this is something that Ohm is exploring, right? And I think that's going to be an essential part of the solution. But then even how does that information move between people? How do you know that that identity chain is trustable when it's passed from person to person? So these are all interesting problems. And we've got to figure out, how to balance the storage solution and connect whatever information is stored to that identity.
Yep.
Oh yeah, when does voting close? It's in a few hours, right? Or did it close already?
Not sure. I thought it already was closed. But anyways, I'm gonna put the link to Ada Pule's
Nice
blog post talking about our Fund 4.
Cool.
proposal.
I'm checking my voting app. Oh, voting ended.
Yep.
Earlier today. Okay. But yes, I mean, I still think, here, let me grab it as well. Our Fund 4 proposal, I think, does a good job laying out our what, still relevant thinking about what we're trying to accomplish over the next few months. We haven't updated this proposal since April. But here it is. Where is it? Yeah. And yeah, this phrase, we used the phrase building network capacity. Well, we haven't updated it since the 1st of March. We use the term building network capacity, which is exactly what we're talking about a lot in this weekly update, right? We don't have enough experts in the world to deliver the expertise that needs to be. So we all have to better understand identity, storage, Plutus, etc., in order to build what we need to build. Yeah. And Kyle, I mean, right, we've been talking about the limits of the word wallet for a long time, and I think you're right? And the moment I started thinking about identity itself as an empty bucket, that helped me a lot. And that is the question I spend the most time thinking about is, all right, but how do you fill that bucket? How do you add information to it that other people can trust?
I want to quickly share my way of thinking about this when you and I started talking about decentralized identity some months ago. Somehow I love to try and map reality, nature into technology, and the way I thought about identity is and reputation. I mean, I don't think I have a single reputation. It depends on the person that tries to look at me. Identity for him might be all the events I share with that specific person, so that compose his vision, his view of my person, and it's the same for the reputation, right? He observes my acts and builds a reputation for me. So it's like a one-to-many scenario, and how you map that into a graph or wherever. It's like many different graphs, but all that I can think of as data that needs to be stored is every single interaction. So you can review that in the future, because for me, James is that guy that once winked at me the eye in a conversation, and that made an impression on me, and that's now part of what I think James is as an entity. So that's a very difficult thing to capture on digital storage, but somehow we have those winks online also. I know it's a bit weird way of thinking about that, but we are in the middle of something that requires looking at current problems from different angles, right? So
this is sovereignty, right? Is being able to have your multiple reputations and the nuance of having a different reputation with each person, maybe, right? And yeah, it's complicated. But yeah, what you're describing, that record of interactions, right? That's the animating idea that Ohm brings to the table as well. And so we're all circling around this, and if we can build the right buckets, we can figure out how to better and better capture that information over time. Good things. This is fun. Thanks for taking the time to think about some of these big ideas with us today.
We once again pass our 30 minutes limit for this. I enjoy it every week.
Same. All right, everybody, reach out if you'd like to get more involved in any way. We are really all ears, and we'll welcome you. So I hope everybody has a nice Friday, nice weekend, and see you next week. Take care.
See you. Peace.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Enjoy the